What's up, UBC? I'm Michelle Ho. Today is March 19th, 2012, and you're watching the UBC Weekly Show.
It is UBC March Madness. We asked students this week to pick the quintessential UBC experience over the course of 2 weeks on our website. Students can vote and comment on Facebook, and the winner of the draw will win 2 tickets to the Canucks versus Calgary, Saturday night.
So tomorrow in the culture section, we're going to have an article about the Playhouse Theatre Company closing and something about Macbeth. Do these things.
I have no idea what the fuck is in sports, so maybe we should ask Drake.
This week in sports, I'm in Calgary with Jeff Lister, and we're coming women's basketball. UBC won the semifinals. They're going to gold tomorrow. Will they win the bronze? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Let's win.
All right, so last week, AMS security workers gave a 72-hour strike notice, but turns out they're not going to be starting picket lines this week. Oh yeah, we have the undergrad election results for you, so keep a lookout for those.
So you've just heard a little bit about the unions and strikes that are about to happen on campus. I'm here with Andrew Bates, and he's going to shed some light on what's actually happening. What's going on with the strikes on campus?
3 of UBC's unions are contemplating going on strike. The union that represents AMS security almost went on strike this past week. The union that represents service workers has voted to approve a strike. The union that represents TAs is going to meet next week to decide whether or not to do the same.
So the security union is going on strike as well?
Well, they're not going on strike right now necessarily. Negotiations with the AMS haven't gone so well since the union certified in September. They issued a 72-hour strike notice earlier this week before mediation on Friday. But because of a part of the rules that govern first contracts, the mediator still has some time to decide whether or not to impose a contract before a union would be able to make a strike.
What about all the other unions?
Well, the union that represents service workers is currently negotiating with the university on renewing its collective bargaining agreement, and they have approved a strike 86%. The union that represents TAs is going to meet on Wednesday to vote on whether or not to approve a strike. Neither of those are necessarily going to strike because strike votes are a bit of ammunition that you can use in the bargaining process.
So if these strikes do happen, what impact will it have on student life and also our campus?
Well, right now, the one that looks most likely to strike, the AMS security union, would affect only the sub. But if the service workers were going to go on strike, it would affect lots of parts of the campus, and if the TAs were to go on strike and that job action were to continue through exams, that would be a difficulty in terms of getting all those papers marked.
Arts! It's everything you want in Macbeth, plus a little extra cool stuff because it's live theater.
But I think we do some really interesting things design-wise and stylistically that kind of keep people on their toes.
I have an original suite of bagpipe tunes that have been written for the show.
There's fights.
Fights in the show are incredible.
And stabbings.
You know, we were so lucky to have Nick Harrison come in and choreograph some fights for us.
We did try to really go for the world of 12th century Scotland.
We're in an age where it's like you can't see a Shakespeare play or movie without it being set in space. Changing the location of the time goes to show how universal these themes are, but you don't have to do that in order to be.
And it's I wouldn't say realistic necessarily because it is a very stylized presentation of the play.
This show kind of takes Macbeth as an individual and warps it to incorporate other parts of the story, other facets of the original play.
The witches are a personification of ambition. And so they are drawn to Macbeth at the beginning when he gets all of his power. And they start planting thoughts in his head. So every time Macbeth has a soliloquy in which he says, I want to be king, or that's a step that I must o'erleap, the witches actually say that line.
Be
be all and the end all. Here, but here upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come.
But in these cases, we still have judgment here.
And then gradually, they become less and less prominent in his head because ambition has taken over his whole body at that point.
It really blurs the line between the parts of humans that we can control and the parts that we can't, especially when it comes to things like ambition and power.
There's certainly more than a few people who are completely consumed by ambition in today's society. I think that's timeless.
And that's all for today. I'm Michelle Ho, BCom and CUS AMS rep since 1918. Please hire me. Please hire me.
Look at yourself.
I took a class for that.